Reminded then of the breaking news, and that is that all English football has been suspended until at least the 30th of April, but all the organisations definitely in order to achieve those aims. Our chief reporter Brian Swanson joins us on set now. Brian, good to see you again this afternoon. So what are the key messages to come out of today's meeting?
The further suspension of English football is no big surprise. The game accepts it cannot continue at the moment as the coronavirus pandemic spreads. The significance of today is the decision of the Football Association's boards and their agreement, in their words, to extend indefinitely the time limit to the end of the season. Under the FA's rules and regulations, the season shall terminate not later than the 1st of June. Officials have basically effectively agreed not to enforce that date. In summary, football has given itself more time in these extraordinary circumstances. There is a clear determination within the game to finish the season before considering the start of next season. The statement does accept that the progress of coronavirus, the spread of coronavirus, remains unclear. And what English football is trying to do is to bring a degree of clarity to clubs in what is still a hugely volatile and unpredictable landscape. A revised resumption at the end of April now still seems ambitious. There would be a likelihood that that may well change in a couple of weeks. European football ultimately wants to have all of its commitments fulfilled by the end of June. But that date, John, remember, remains flexible, particularly if a FIFA working group agrees to relax the rules on player contracts and registrations. This is still a fluid environment with plenty of opinions and ideas. Clubs are going to continue talks next week, but ultimately public health has and will always remain their top priority, because the game wanted to re-emphasise that in their statement, saying that our thoughts are with everyone who has been affected by coronavirus.
Yeah, it was significant. I think that sentence was at the beginning and the end of the statement, wasn't it? And Brian, as you rightly say, April the 30th is the next marker, if you like. So what do we think is the best case scenario today as we sit here?
At the moment, John, there are still so many unknowns, such as when will coronavirus peak in England. At the moment, so long as this continues to spread, the game cannot go on, and that's where we've reached the place now. But what they're trying to do is have some sort of framework to work towards. So yes, there is a likelihood that the new date will be suspended further still, but they are at least trying to model things if they go ahead at the start of May, for instance. Ultimately, this is all going to depend on public health, and ultimately, fundamentally, it is driven by the government. That is how football makes its decisions. They will be guided by what the government advice is at the time. They know that they cannot stretch emergency services for games at the moment. That is completely unworkable. They accept that, they say that, but they are thinking beyond. They're thinking longer term. They're thinking what will happen when this pandemic eventually slows down and we all begin to get back to some degree of normal life. They're trying to bring reassurance to the game in what is still a hugely uncertain environment.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think this will bring, I mean, it's very early days as well, we know, but will this bring a degree of clarity to clubs in that they now know they're preparing for the culmination of a season rather than the start of another season?
I think the significance of the Football Association board decision is that it puts in writing this commitment to try to extend the season. They are not enforcing their own rules and regulations. They appreciate that this is an extraordinary circumstances. We've had a number of people have contacted us about the proposed date of the 30th of June. For clarity, that is when European football would like to end the season. That is still not set in stone. It depends. There are a lot of variables at play here. It depends. Different countries are experiencing different issues surrounding the coronavirus pandemic, and at the moment it's very hard to give concrete dates at such an uncertain time. But what they are doing is clearly showing there is a collective will within the game to finish the season. From an integrity point of view, everyone feels that that is the most important thing. It is the cleanest thing. In the Premier League, for instance, if all 38 games are fulfilled, it makes and removes any potential legal challenges that may come. Ultimately, we should stress the game understands that at times like these, they will always be second to public health, but they are trying to do what they can to give some clubs a degree of reassurance that they want to end this season.
Brian, that's really helpful. Thank you very much.